Greetings, tennis aficionados. This is a huge, shocking announcement that is echoing throughout the world and sending shockwaves into the California desert. We are providing you with the most recent high-stakes action that is now taking place in the Indian Wells Tennis Garden. The entire tennis community is watching what is unquestionably one of the most eagerly awaited, historic, and simply thrilling round of 64 matches in the recent history of the Women's Tennis Association. Alexandra Eala, a trailblazing phenomenon and pride of the Philippines, is making her much-awaited main draw debut at the BNP Paribas Open. Additionally, she will square off against Dayana Yastremska, a very strong Ukrainian veteran, in an exciting match. This is not your average WTA match. This is an earthquake. This is a clash between a veteran explosive athlete who knows exactly what it takes to perform on the biggest stages of the sport and a quickly rising celebrity carrying the dreams of an entire country on her back. You can sense the excitement in the air here at Tennis Paradise because of the electrifying atmosphere. The Yaela effect is what we are discussing. Even before a single main draw ball has been struck in her name, this craze has taken over this tournament. The overwhelming number of spectators crowding the practice courts has reportedly completely taken the organizers by surprise. In order to accommodate the enormous boisterous crowds of Filipino supporters who travel from all over California, if not the entire world, just to catch a glimpse of this 20-year-old sensation, yesterday's scheduled law training session on Court 3 had to be hurriedly moved to Stadium Court 8. Let's establish the scene and recognize the scope of our situation. Everyone agrees that Indian Wells is a fifth Grand Slam. Outside of the four majors, it is the most popular tennis competition. A famous WTA 1000 event that requires perseverance, excellence, and unwavering determination. The courts here, which are renowned for their unusual playing conditions, are tucked away in the Coachella Valley. The hardcourt surface itself is extremely gritty and high-bouncing, gripping the ball and requiring strong, penetrating ground strokes despite the thin and swift desert air. Alexandra Eala is currently sitting at a career-high ranking orbit of world number 32. When you combine that with the whirling, unpredictable desert winds that have been whipping to the stadiums this week, you have a tactical minefield that only the most adaptive and mentally tough champions can navigate. She has the highest ranking of any Filipino player in the WTA Tour's history. She was seeded 31st when she came at this tournament. An amazing achievement that won her a vital first-round purchase. Consider the significance of that accomplishment. A 20-year-old Quezon City resident who developed her skills at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain is currently competing in the world's fifth-largest competition. As a sitting powerhouse with a bullseye on her back, not as a wild card or a qualifier looking for a fortunate break. She is no longer the underdog. The biggest draw is her. In this historic maiden Indian Wells match, Dayana Yastremska is standing across the net from her. Formerly ranked 21st in the world, it is currently ranked 52nd. On the tennis court, the 25-year-old from Odessa, Ukraine, is a true force. Having decisively defeated China 63-6-2 in the first round, she has momentum going into this 64 match. With 3 WTA 250 championships and an incredible run to the 2024 Australian Open semifinals, Yastremska provides a plethora of high-pressure expertise. She can hit clean wins from any cornered court and has one of the tour's most fierce, unyielding baseline games. This leads us to an important aspect of breaking context. They have met before. The young Filipina has a head-to-head record of 1-0. Only last year, in 2025, they faced off in the Eastbourne Open quarterfinals on England's smooth grass courts. Eala absolutely dismantled Yastremska's aggressive strategy in the match, winning 6-1, 6-2, en way to her historic first WTA Tour level final. But don't be mistaken, Indian Wells is an entirely different animal. While the gritty, high-bouncing hardcourts of the California desert require patience, heavy spin, and laborious point formation, grasscourt tennis favors first strike, flat-hitting tennis. Eala will want to establish her supremacy and demonstrate that she has fully solved the Ukrainians' difficult riddle, while Yastremska will be ravenous for retribution and ready to demonstrate that the Eastbourne outcome was an oddity on a foreign surface. There is really no way that the stakes could be higher. For Eala, winning here entails more than just making it to the round of 32. In addition to continuing her incredible 2026 season, which has already seen her advance to the quarterfinals in Dubai and Abu Dhabi as well as the semifinals in Auckland, it is about solidifying her position as a legitimate top-tier contender on the hard courts and gaining crucial ranking points to break into the elusive top 30. Yastremska sees this as a fantastic chance to defeat a sitting emerging star, regain her place among the top players in the sport, and gain the momentum needed to go far in one of the most profitable events of the year. In addition, the winner of this titanic clash faces a terrible draw. The prospect of taking on the current American sensation, Coco Gauff, looms large in the upcoming round. Hollywood screenwriters would find it difficult to create the possible scenarios that are being set up by the flawless interweaving of the narrative threads. Under the scorching California sun, we are witnessing a fight of generations, a masterclass in different approaches, and a true test of mental toughness. There is a lot of activity throughout the Indian Wells complex. A country of more than 100 million people is holding their collective breath while the world's tennis community watches. The sports world is currently dominated by this shocking news. This is Dayana Yastremska against Alexandra Eala. In order to fully understand the enormous magnitude of this clash, let's smoothly move from this explosive synopsis and take you inside the numbers, strategies, and amazing travels that have taken these two warriors to this precise moment. We need to evaluate both players' physical and psychological armor, as well as their recent performance, in order to determine how they fit into Stadium 3. Let's start with Alexandra Eala, the woman who has swept the tennis globe in the past 12 months. If you have been watching tennis for the past year, you are aware that Eala's career had an unquestionable sea change during the 2025 season. We are discussing a phenomenal ascent that broke all previous barriers to Southeast Asian tennis. Eala changed from being a highly anticipated junior prospect. On the senior circuit, the 2022 US Open girls singles champion has developed into an undeniable giant slayer. Her incredible logic-defying run at the Miami Open in 2025 served as the impetus. Eala broke through the draw, accomplishing the unimaginable by defeating 3 past Grand Slam champions in a row despite being a relatively unknown quantity to the general public. She defeated Madison Keys' hard hitting, survived Elino Stenko's pure strength, and pulled off one of the biggest upsets in the decade by defeating the IGTCH. She became the first Filipino player in history to reach the top 100 thanks to that Miami run. Eala, however, did not end there. She demonstrated that she wasn't a one-tournament wonder. In Guadalajara, she won her first WTA 125 championship after skillfully adjusting to Mexico's high altitude. She then demonstrated her adaptability on various surfaces with that incredible run to the final on Eastbourne's grass courts. She became the first Filipino to win a main draw Grand Slam match in the Open era when she defeated Clara Tauson in the first round of the 2025 US Open. The 2026 season has been severely impacted by all of this momentum. She has demonstrated exceptional consistency thus far this year, matching her quarterfinal appearances from the entire previous year in just the first 2 months. Her competitive advantage has been reinforced by her deep runs in Dubai, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi, demonstrating that she belongs every week against the top 50. Eala presents the court with an intriguing riddle from a tactical standpoint. She has a huge geometric advantage right away because she is a left-hander. Right-handed opponents are completely taken out of the doubles alley by her natural slice on her serve out wide on the ADC court, leaving the entire court open for her deadly opening strike. Her forehand, which is extremely heavy and spin-laden, is the foundation of her game. Eala learned how to create a point at the Rafa Nadal Academy, where she received training in the Spanish clay court philosophy. She molds the ball rather than merely hitting it. She pushes her opponents behind the baseline with height and spin, then waits for the short ball before stepping in and speeding across the court. Her movement is also elite. With the dexterity of a gymnast, she protects the corners, frequently neutralizing a rally ball that appears to be a clear winner for her opponent. She has significantly improved her first serve and added a vital element of intensity to her return game over the past year under the direction of her coach, Sandro Vine. She is no longer merely a counterpuncher. She is an all-court autocrat. Let's now examine Dayana Yastremska, a significant barrier in her path. It is an invitation to complete annihilation to undervalue Yastrems. The Ukrainian is the epitome of a high-risk, high-reward tennis player. Her game is just not playable while she is locked in. She can create scorching pace from both wings with minimal windup thanks to her terrifyingly rapid arm. Taking time away from her opponent is the foundation of her concept. She flatlines her ground strokes across the court, takes the ball very early on the rise, and stays close to the baseline. Yastremska has been incredibly resilient during her ordeal. She has faced numerous professional and personal obstacles since achieving a career-high ranking of 21 in early 2020, all the while representing a country going through unspeakable sorrow. She battled all the way from the qualifying rounds to the semifinals at the 2024 Australian Open, when her game saw a huge comeback. A historic run that served as a reminder of her terrifying potential to the whole tennis establishment. She is physically at her best at the age of 25. She is aware of the hardcourt's geometry and knows that she cannot afford to get mired down in lengthy looping rallies in order to defeat a player like Eala. The game will be won or lost in this tactical confrontation. Let's examine the particular characteristics of the match at Stadium 3. The circumstances at Indian Wells will be crucial. The courts here are renowned for being harsh, as we explained. This surface helps the ball to bounce up precisely into Yastremska's strike zone while also taking a speed off a flat ball, which might theoretically hurt her game. However, Eala's heavy topspin is further enhanced by the high bounce, which enables her forehand to kick forcefully up around Yastremska's shoulders. In order to tee off, the Ukrainian prefers the ball to be waist height. Eala will unavoidably start making unforced mistakes with her racket if she can regularly use shape and depth to make Yastremska hit on retreat or above her shoulders. But the wind will be today's biggest equalizer. There are now swirling, windy conditions in the Coachella Valley. The aggressive flat-hitting player's worst nemesis is wind. Yastremska occasionally finds it difficult to make the tiny footwork tweaks needed to squeeze the trigger on a huge winner. Theoretically, Eala has the advantage in these tumultuous conditions due to her superior lateral movement and inherently higher margin of error above the net. Over the past 2 days, we observed this throughout their practice sessions. Yastremska was plainly aware that she couldn't just hit into the wind, as seen by her intensive focus on serve placement and direction changes. In the meantime, she spent hours honing her footwork and highlighting her down-the-line patterns while working through baseline rallies with Alexandra Eala of Germany. The Yastremska second serve versus the Yastremska return will be the crucial battlefield. Even if it has improved, Eala's second serve occasionally sits up. One of the WTA Tour's worst returners is Yastremska. She will try to destroy any shaky second serve by stepping 2 feet inside the baseline and taking control of the point right away. To defend herself, Eala needs to keep her first serve percentage high. If Eala is serving at over 65%, she dictates the terms of engagement. She will be under a relentless siege if her first serve deserts her. On the other hand, when Yastremska is fleeing, Eala needs to focus on his backhand side. Yastremska's defensive slice and her capacity to neutralize a heavy ball to that wing are weaknesses, even if she can produce amazing down-the-line backhand winners when set. Eala will persistently hammer away at the Astra backhand with her left-handed cross-court forehand, stretching her wider and wider until the court opens up entirely. This match is an intriguing study from a psychological perspective. Eala has the enormous confidence of a player who has broken records and beyond expectations for the past year. She is aware that the last time they played, she easily defeated Yastremska. The audience unquestionably supports her as well. For the Filipina, this will practically feel like a home game due to the Eala effect. There will be thunderous cheers for each point she wins. Like a championship point, every winner will be honored. A young player may benefit greatly from the crowd's enthusiasm, which can propel them to levels they would not be able to attain on their own. However, Yastremska has become battle-hardened. She has performed in front of antagonistic audiences. She has performed on the world's largest courts. Additionally, she is so powerful that she can fully remove the racket from Eala's grasp. Yastremska has the power to control the emotional pace of a match if she comes out swinging freely, hitting her spots and ignoring the commotion from the crowd. She is aware that Eala is the one under the most pressure today. Eala plays while seated. Eala is predicted to prevail. In many respects, Yastremska is playing with house money. She has nothing to lose and can swing freely. The draw itself is also hiding in the shadows of this clash. The victor of this titanic battle will face either Kamila Rakimova or Coco Gauff. A possible round 32 game between Gauff and Eala is the stuff of promoters' dreams. Just a few weeks earlier, Gauff defeated Eala in straight sets in the Dubai quarterfinals. Eala has publicly expressed her great admiration for the American tennis star, referring to her as an amazing role model.